y'all, it's my review for the Real Housewives of New York, Season 14 Reunion Part 2. Let's hope this one was better than last week. So we open with Jessel accusing Sai and Aaron of implying her husband is cheating on her. Sai and Aaron are denying that as we're seeing a clip of them literally doing so on their FaceTime. Like, we saw you do it. Like, just cop to it. Y'all were being messy. Andy saw the footage too, so how come he didn't call them out on it? So Andy asked Jessel a good question. He asked her, did you bring up your postpartum while talking about how you and your husband aren't having sex? Did you say it in the same conversation? And most of the ladies say no, so they run back the footage and the ladies are right. Like, she never brought up postpartum depression. She brought up her C-section scar, and she said she had to like schedule sex, but she never mentioned that. So that's a good point. Maybe they wouldn't have went so hard on her had they known that. Aaron tells Jessel when she was watching the show, and she said in her confessional, she felt really bad. So Andy just decides to put a pin in the conversation, since neither Sai or Aaron are gonna cop to implying about Pavitt. Oh my God, here we go with the cackling hags comment. I never want to hear that phrase again. So now we get to the ugly nightgown that Jenna gave to Jessel. And you know how rude it was. Jessel cops to that. She just said she didn't realize it was rude. And Jenna, who's speaking this part of the reunion, she says she felt good that Aaron and Sai were coming to her defense. So they're really moving along with these topics. And I also see why Jessel was first chair, because a lot of these situations had to do with her. So now they're on how Aaron and Sai picked apart Jessel's story about her upbringing. Jessel says she felt really offended by Sai's 1492 comment she said in her confessional. I honestly thought that was pretty funny and extremely shady, but yeah, it was mean. It still looks to me like Aaron and Sai are trying to gaslight Jessel because they keep saying, it didn't happen that way, Jessel, it didn't happen. Yes, it did. Y'all really, like, Sai, you were yelling at her. We want to know about you! So they keep squawking now, and Andy just wants to hear Jenna's opinion. I mean, somebody got to make her talk. Jenna's like, oh, well, I think there's a disconnect going on here with the other ladies, and I don't know what's going. She seems so nervous to talk. I really feel like this is going to be her last season. They then move to the topic of the dead uncle versus the dead mom. Now, I know that sounds horrible, y'all, but they're really comparing the two. And Sai was saying she was just triggered, like this was her situation. She actually said her mom died 5 months before filming, so it just felt too soon to her to talk about it. And Jessel's apologizing, but Brent interjects and tells Jessel to stop apologizing after they went after your family, your marriage, etc. To be fair, Brent should lay back until it's her turn because she was stirring the pot too. At the end of the day, we all saw that Jessel didn't mean any harm. She just was trying to connect more to Sai. But Sai already had the wall up, and Jessel wasn't going to win whether she brought up her mom or not. So now they're having the privilege conversation, and Jessel's saying that her parents are immigrants that were poor, they moved to London. Aaron's like, nah, girl. Did you grow up poor, though? And Aaron, she throws her Israeli card on the table now. She's like, well, my dad moved from Israel and he came to America with nothing, but I didn't grow up poor. Then Jessel says we were comfortable, but we weren't living lavishly. And, you know, Aaron has that Grinch smile. Granted, there's nothing wrong with growing up middle class, but there's definitely a difference between, you know, living where you don't know where your next meal is coming from to, oh, you can go to McDonald's, you know, maybe twice a week or so. Like, that was my upbringing. I mean, I grew up in the ghetto, but I wasn't like poor. Child, they are not serious one bit. They're still going back and forth. Like, at least Erin, she's owning her privilege. I think she just wants Jessel to, and it's kind of weird that she even wants her to. Do y'all follow me? I swear I'm not high. Erin's just trying to drive the point that Jessel didn't just grow up with nothing. We move on, thank God, and then Erin apologizes to Jessel because she gets another question about criticizing Jessel's marriage. She tells her sorry. She doesn't think anything's wrong with her marriage, but she does think that Pavitt going to Vietnam for a sandwich is weird. And then Andy interjects and says he's the head of the fried chicken committee, which, side note, I need to be a part of this committee. I'm about to look that up in a minute. So now it's Sai's turn to be nailed to the cross, and she's being asked, why does she care so much about Pavitt going to Vietnam? And why does she like immediately call Jessel a liar? And she can't really say anything but just apologize. She said she just found the fact that he was going to Vietnam for a sandwich very, very intriguing. Bryn then tries to interject again, but ooh, Sai's getting more and more anxious, like, he's not your husband! Brynn just laid back after that. I wonder who would win in the fight between Brynn and Sai. I'm gonna say Sai, but it won't be an easy win for her. Oh my God, Andy keeps putting Jenna on the spot. Like, clearly she wasn't there for this conflict, but he's still asking her opinion on it. I'm guessing production's in Andy's ear telling him to make Jenna participate. Jenna's on Jessel's side, by the way. She just couldn't fathom why the other ladies cared so much. Also, then Andy asked Jessel, is there room for reconciliation? And they say, yeah, Jessel and Sai been going out. I'm guessing Aaron's been hanging with them too. Well, is Aaron and Sai in a good place, though? That's what I want to know. We then move on to Sai's reel for the season. First question is about her mom, and it's an emotional moment, and at this point, all 6 women on the couch have cried. Side note, Sai's makeup is flawless. While Sai is breaking down right now, I don't think she cried like this the entire season. She's talking about her mom, of course, and how when she used to live with her and her husband and kids, her mom would get drunk in front of the kids, and it was so bad that her husband told her that her mom needs to go. And she said that putting out her mom was the hardest thing for her to do. So we move on to something lighter, and Andy asks her, why are you always hungry? So according to Sai, there's actually a reason for this. She says that she doesn't eat meat, and she works out a lot, so that means she's hungry every 2 to 3 hours. That's all fine and dandy, but if you know you're hungry every 2 to 3 hours, you shouldn't relay that responsibility on strangers. Like I said, my mom told me never put your stomach in anyone's hands. You need to have some granola bars on you, an apple, banana, something. They're not talking about Sai's career as an influencer, and I really do think she's legit. And I guess people look down on the title of influencer because you have so many other people who really aren't that girl calling themselves influencers. Like, I would never call myself an influencer. I'm a content creator. If I get to that part where I'm an influencer, so be it. But I call myself a content creator. I also remember the chick from Married to Medicine. She's not on there anymore. The Indian woman. I can't remember at the moment, y'all, but she was an influencer, and I think she's making chump change compared to what Sai makes. Like, Sai actually has the following. Next question, or I guess comment for Sai that Andy reads is, Sai goes off when she's hungry, which seems like she's hungry all the time. They're telling her to relax. And then Sai takes this time to apologize to all the ladies for being a bitch, basically. You know, it's so disappointing because I talked to so many people who watched the show and they really wanted to love Sai. But, I mean, there's always next season, girl, if they bring you back. Look, we were all rooting for you. So far, we're halfway into the reunion, and I would say as a whole, Sai has apologized the most. So next we move on to Brynn's reel. She's talking about her family first, which evokes emotion. She starts crying, and look, they got the Kleenex on deck at this reunion. Small side note, every time I look at Brynn, that dress is just getting on my fucking nerves. It is hideous. Like, how come she couldn't wear what she wore to the Lincoln Center Ballet? Like, she slayed in that yellow number. Like, look it up. But wearing this, whatever this pilgrim prostitute thing she wearing, I don't like it. Okay, production, that was a little shady. So her next question is talking about, you know, her race, and I guess she identifies as black, and the cameraman immediately pans to Ubah. So now we're back to Brynn and Sai, and it looks like Brynn is genuinely upset that Sai just stopped speaking to her and they're not friends anymore. I feel like there's hope. I mean, granted, if Sai comes back. I think the whole cast is coming back with the exception of Jenna, but we'll see. So then we get to Brynn's love life, and she's been engaged 3 times. But she says the reason why she hasn't gone through with any of the engagements because they all proposed to her when they were broken up. So then we get to Brynn talking about penises, and then we jump to her infatuation with Jenna, who Jenna says that she never took her seriously. So now we move on to what exactly does Brynn do for a living, because I don't think the cameras captured that really well or even showed her working. But she says she's a communications consultant. She's in marketing, basically. I think it's because she pushes the trophy wife narrative so hard that people actually forget that she actually has a real job. We then move on to the back and forth between Brynn and Aaron all season. I've always said that the Jill and Ramona of the season because they're constantly like going back and forth with each other, competing and then going back as friends. Ooh, so Ubah's coming in hot. Again, pun intended. Like, she's rolling her eyes and she's saying that because both of y'all are fake. Like, this is no real relationship. And then says they're not similar at all. She says that Bryn, at least when she goes over to you like a pigeon, at least she admits that she told you. You don't. Damn, Ubah. She said their friendship makes her sick. Like, is there a bucket I could puke in? She literally said that. Sai having a good old laugh at the far end of the couch. I'm sorry, I know they were going back and forth on social media, but I agree with Tamra because we didn't see this Ubah much of the season. Maybe like a glimpse of it, but in this reunion, like, she's coming in hot at every turn. She's like making sure her presence is known. Unlike some people on the couch. Oh, Aaron's a Cancer, and it just makes perfect sense. Child, the Cancers. I mean, hey, some of y'all are Cancers. So the main theme of this reunion is I'm sorry or tears. Because literally someone's apologizing or crying every 10 minutes. So now we finally get the phone gate, and all the cast agree that it wasn't 45 minutes. Okay. So then Andy asks the cast who thinks that Ubah overreacted. Bryn raises her hand, as well as Jenna. So I think Ubah overreacted from what I saw on the season, because it seemed like when she asked Aaron point blank, do you have my phone? Aaron gave it to her. Now, if Aaron lied and said she didn't have it, and she had Ubah worrying like that, then Aaron deserved all the smoke. Jenna then says that there was no context to like how angry she was. Like, had we known that, you do all of this, you have to text your family, you have a business or whatever. Well, they did know she had a business, but how important it was for her to get in touch with her family, maybe they would have been like, okay, I get why you're so upset. Ubah sounds like she don't give a fuck though. She's like, Jenna, let me make one thing really clear to you. Ubah's getting hot about the phone all over again. They're saying that Aaron lied that she told Jessel that she had the phone, which is like, okay, when Jessel asked did she have the phone, she sent like crazy emojis, and I'm guessing Ubah didn't get it. She became even more mad at that, so then that's why she took her glasses. Andy looked tired of talking about the situation. He said it's just semantics. Again, I think Ubah overreacted. And here we go with another apology. Aaron tells Ubah that if I knew you were that upset, I would have came downstairs and handed you a phone. I'm sorry I didn't do that. So Aaron does bring up a point I agree with. If your friend took your phone, you would think they wouldn't be doing it out of malicious intent. And I'm just saying that from the perspective that they're friends. So Andy then asks Ubah if she would have apologized to you about taking your phone, would have it gone any differently? And Ubah kind of goes back to her with the group text, and like Andy, you can see the look on his face like, oh, we talked about that. But then Bryn, she gets tired of Ubah, and she's like, oh my God. Like, for one thing, just find my iPhone, share my location. Ubah then yells at Bryn, and Bryn's like, you need to chill out, because I'm the only one here that's not afraid of you. It calms down between the two of them, and Andy moves on to, I'm guessing, the stereotype of black women being angry. Like, they talked about it a little bit during Anguilla. And he throws the question to Sai, and Sai throws it to Ubah. Ubah says, I never get angry. When people get my anger, they most likely deserve it. So then the question is posed to Jenna when she made the comment that she got a taste of Ubah hot when she came over to her house and Ubah checked her about letting her know whether or not there's cameras around. I thought that was kind of silly. Like, you need to let me know if there's cameras around. I don't want to be looking all crazy. Like, if it was for the show, you should be presenting your real self at all times anyway. You don't have to be in glam 24/7. Bryn again feels like it's BS coming from Ubah. She's like, come on now, you were being aggressive with her in that moment. Her and Ubah get into it again. And Ubah's like, well, I understand that maybe you haven't felt love before. And then Bryn was like, watch your fucking mouth. Then Bryn tells her, you put people in the hospital, I put people in the funeral homes. I'm not really sure what that meant. And then Bryn says she's half black and half Irish. You don't want to fuck with me. I didn't know what that meant either. Okay, biracial girl. And then Ubah counters with, bitch, I'm Somalian. I will whip your ass. Now, again, that would be a good fight too. Like, I'm wondering, who would win? Let me know in the chat. I think it'd be an even match. Oh my God. Bryn say, well, it's not a conversation. Ubah like, shut up. Okay, this is better than part one. Ubah is super hot right now. I'm going to continue with the puns. She then asked, can I get a glass of water? It does seem like there's a miscommunication and Ubah doesn't understand the colloquialisms. Ubah's then saying that, I'm from Africa, and Brent's rolling her eyes. It's not about Africa. Oh, like Ubah, like she wanted to pop Brent. She was like, please, please. Man, I think they need to be separated. Poor Jenna, she's just trying to say, I'm sorry if that offended you. Like, I really am. I'm sorry. And she's still not letting up on Jenna. She's saying she's mad at her because Jenna said she's Team Aaron in her confessional. Now, when we look back at the confessional, she's saying that she's Team Aaron because Ubah was standing over her and snatched her glasses off her face. I mean, that's where Ubah lost the argument. Like, she didn't have to do that. She also said, I'm Team Aaron in this moment. In this moment. Ubah's being unreasonable. Is it just me, y'all? I'm just judging what I'm seeing. Ubah's about to break down over a missing phone. A missing phone because it wasn't missing in the first place. It was a prank. I think this is getting out of hand now because now she's mad at everybody because she feels like nobody had her back. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh at it. But now Bryn, she's feeling sorry for Ubah. She has her hand on her lap. Breathe, breathe. I'm just so tired of being nice and kind to people. Child, now Aaron gets up from the couch to go and comfort Ubah. The look on Andy's face reads, is this over yet? Okay, so the situation has calmed down and de-escalated. So now they get back to what Ubah said in part one, just out of nowhere, that 3 of the ladies did not want Jenna on the show. So Jenna wants that clarified, and Sai says that it was one night where it was her, Ubah, Jessel, and Aaron. Sai cops to saying that before they started filming, she thought that Jenna wouldn't fit in the group. And she's still stuck by that. And look, after the season, could you blame them for thinking that? Like, she hardly wanted to, like, be in the drama or participate. Like, Andy literally has to, like, drag statements out of her right now during the reunion. So, I mean, big whoop. I don't think that was right for Ubah to say that, though. I mean, just because you're mad at them now, you want to expose that, but you knew this the entire time. So, again, we have apologies on apologies on apologies, and they move on. Okay, so they're winding down. They're going around the room saying, what did they see in themselves watching season 14, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go through all that. They make a toast, and it seems like they end on a good note, like a friendly note. So that's the end of the reunion. Altogether, I would give the reunion C+. As far as the entire package of season 14, I don't want to be harsh, but I'm going to give it a B-. Like, it wasn't a terrible season. I love these group of women. They have some really big shoes to fill, y'all. 13 seasons before them, these are the new ladies. I think, they put in a different woman, maybe switch out Jenna. I just really don't think Jenna's gonna come back, y'all. Like, I think they should add maybe 2 more wives. And we'd have a good season because in this franchise, I actually see New York City in this cast. So, altogether, I enjoyed the season, but I think the peak happened during the cash trip and then it slowly went down. It bumped up a little bit during the finale. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all thought about the season. And yeah, with that, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all for the next franchise because Potomac's coming up as well as Married to Medicine. Bye.